गणेश शारदा गुरुभ्यो नमः रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः. Welcome to all for this session on Ramayana to chapter 91 of Ayodhya Kanda. In the previous chapter, we saw Bharatha, after approaching the hermitage of Bharadwaja, was actually suspected. Of course, the Bharadwaja has expressed himself as though he is suspicious about the intentions of Bharatha, though he is a gnani who knows past, present, and future. But then, when Bharata expressly told that he is nowhere interested in the throne and he is always an obedient follower of Rama, even Bharadwaja felt happy. So that when the words have came from the mouth of Bharata, that excels the ability, that excels the image of Bharata, and it is known even today in the whole of world, especially in the Bharata, regarding the greatness of Rama and Bharata as political people, which were their political capabilities or a political mindset or a thinking which is very difficult, very rare to find in the politicians of today. Prince Bharata, having decided to remain in the hermitage, the sage invited him to a repast. Sri Bharata then said, O holy Lord, you have already entertained me with water, fruit, and berries. I am wholly satisfied. Yet Sri Bharadwaja smilingly answered, I know you to be pleased with whatever is lovingly offered to you. But, O Prince, I desire to entertain your whole army. It is it is meet that you accept. It is my purpose, my interest that you should accept my request. O great prince, why are you come? Leaving your army at a distance. Why did you come unattended by your army? Because Bharata, while coming to the hermitage of Vasistha, has left his army a little behind, basically fearing that taking his entire army going there in the garb of a royal prince will certainly going to irritate sage Bharadwaja. That is why he left his army and all the royal privileges behind, and he wore the garb of an ascetic just like Rama, and for just simply followed sage Vasistha. Now Bharadwaja, knowing about the intentions of Bharata, the good intentions of Bharata, he told him, bring your army also here, because sage Bharadwaja wanted to facilitate the entire army. Hearing these words, Prince Bharata answered with humility, O Lord, I did not come attended by my army in deference to you. It becomes a king or a king's son to protect the hermitages of his kingdom. O Lord, I am accompanied by many horses and wild elephants occupying a vast area, fearing they fearing if they come here they would destroy the trees, the thatched huts, and defile the water of the ponds and wells. Hence I came alone, leaving them behind, because it is always the responsibility of the royal family, which is in the nearby vicinity, to protect the gurukulas, to protect such hermitages. They should not bring in their army to make a show off of their royal capabilities and destroy the serene environment of those ashramas. Then Maharshi Bharadwaja said, bring your army here. Thus commanded, the prince brought his army towards the hermitage of sage Bharadwaja. Entering the sacrificial pavilion, the rishi drank 3 times of the water there and reciting a certain formula, sprinkled some on his body, then invoking Vishwakarma, who is a great architect for the gods. And he invoked Vishwakarma to provide the entertainment, and speaking slowly, he said, I summon the celestial beings Vishwakarma and Tvastra. Let them prepare dwellings for the army. I desire to offer Prince Bharata hospitality. I therefore call upon the deities Yama, Varuna, Kubera, and also Indra. Let them assist me in providing the entertainment. I also summon all the rivers flowing above or below from the east or east to west and from west to east. Let some of these produce the delicious wine named Myreya and that named Saura, and also cool sweet water like the juice of the sugar cane. I summon further the heavenly musicians called Haha and Hoo, together with other divine beings and nymphs. I summon the dancing apsaras Gritachi, Vishwachi, Mishra, Mishrakeshi, Alambusha, Nagadanta, Hema, and Soma who dwell in the Himalayas. I call on the dancing nymphs attendant on Brahma and Indra. Let them attire themselves in beautiful apparel bringing their instruments. I desire the celestial forest Chitraratha or Chaitraratha to appear here. The leaves of those trees are formed like beautiful damsels. I desire further foods of many kinds that can be chewed, sucked, or licked, and various drinks to be prepared by the deity presiding over the moon. Let garlands of fresh flowers be made ready, and beautiful goblets and different dishes of flesh be produced here instantaneously. By his yogic power and the proper recitation of the sacred mantras, the holy sage Bharadwaja produced all that was necessary. Facing the east in the posture of invitation, Sri Bharadwaja sat in meditation for a space. Then, one by one, the gods appeared before him. The cool, slow, and fragrant breezes blowing from the Malaya and Dadura mountains tempered the heat. The clouds rained down flowers, and the sound of the divine dundubis were heard. Delightful zephyrs began to blow, nymphs danced, and celestial musicians sung, and the notes of the veena were heard everywhere. The earth and the sky were filled with sweet and harmonious sounds heard by all living beings. As the divine music continued, Bharata's army beheld the wonderful structure wrought by Vishwakarma. They perceived the whole area within a radius of 4 miles to be covered with a carpet of green and glistening grass sparkling like a green emerald. Its beauty was enhanced by silva, kapita, and amalaki and mango trees. A wood appeared wherein people would wander, also a divine stream flowing between banks adorned by various trees. Beautiful white mansions were erected with stables for elephants and horses. Palaces with their balconies decorated with leaves and flowers were to be seen, and others adorned with green and flowery sprays and garlands of pure white blossoms sprinkled with scented water. These dwellings contained square courts serving as reception halls with space for palanquins and coaches. Food of all kinds, rice, the juice of sugar cane, and every variety of confection was to be found there, with curry, puffs, pancakes, and other delicious dishes served in clean vessels, while excellent carpets and seats were spread for relaxation, and couches with spotless coverings and quilts. Entering these mansions with the permission of sage Bharadwaja, Prince Bharatha was followed by his servants, ministers, and priests, who, perceiving all to be well furnished, were highly gratified. Why exactly all this great party is being arranged by sage Bharadwaja to Bharata? Remember that Bharata at that time still had not really enjoyed any royal privilege as a king. He had just returned from Kekaya, and then immediately he saw his dead father after performing his funeral rites. In a spirit of his own sentiments, he rejected the throne and he is walking all the way towards the forest. Did sage Bharadwaja here is testing his endurance? Is he testing whether if he is posed with all the royal privileges, will it going to change the Bharata's mindset? Whether he suddenly will develop an interest towards such royal welfare and decided to make a change in his mind? So Bharadwaja, in a way, is he testing his psychological capabilities. Such was the level of psychology or the psychology testing in those good old days in India. Whereas here you would see Bharata remained as Bharata, as the brother of Rama all the time, whereas that may not be the case with the remaining people. In one of the mansions, a room was set apart containing a throne where retainers holding the canopy and chamara were in attendance. Whether Bharata will go and sit on the throne? Bharatha, with his ministers, circumambulated the royal dais as if it were occupied by Sri Rama, and bowing to it respectfully, Sri Bharata, holding the chamara, occupied a lower seat. The councillors, priests, and army commanders assuming position in accordance with their respective rank. Now, at the command of the holy sage, streams of milk thickened with rice flowed before Bharata's eyes. The beautiful houses washed with quicklime appeared in the river banks. 20,000 youthful women, enchantingly attired and wearing beautiful ornaments, came there at the instance of Brahma. Kubera also sent 20,000 lovely damsels adorned with golds, gems, and pearls. Further, 20,000 nymphs from the region of Indra appeared, whose beauty caused men to lose their reason. Narada, Gopa, and other brilliant musicians began to sing and play before Bharata, and the celestial nymphs to dance in the presence of the prince at the Rishi's command. It could also be for the fact that they do not want Bharata to proceed further and take Rama back from the forest. Probably Bharata, enchanting all this royal privilege, might think about how he can get all these things back in Ayodhya and might return back and become a king himself. Thereby, the prospect of taking Rama back from the forest disappears so that Rama can proceed and will going to kill the demon Ravana later. Was this a game plan played by all the gods? All the flowers most highly esteemed in the celestial gardens among the gods was seen at Prayaga through the power of Bharadwaja. The trees applauded, the Bahadur tree performed on the cymbals, and people danced through the influence of the sage, and those named Devaparna, Tala, and Kuraka assumed the form of dwarfs. Plants by the name of Shingshapa, Amalaki, and Jumbo, and twining creepers such as the jasmine and mallika taking on the shape of women in the hermitage of Bharadwaja. They cried out, "O wine bibbers, drink, O hungry ones, eat kiva, come, fill yourselves with the various kinds of meat." Each person was bathed, each person in the entourage of Bharata, they were bathed in the cool water and attended by 7 or 8 beautiful maidens with lustrous eyes who massaged their body with oil and unguents. Their bath completed, many women dried them with soft clothes and gave them sweetened water tasting like ambrosia to drink. The keepers attended carefully to the horses, elephants, mules, camels, and bullocks. Those steeds belonging to the royal stables and ridden by great generals were fed by the grooms on bundles of sugar cane and parched and sweetened rice. Their attendants and mahouts could hardly recognize their charges. The soldiery were now intoxicated with wine and indulging in every pleasure. Each was gratified in whatever he desired. Their bodies anointed with sandalwood paste and united with the nymphs in amorous dalliance, they exclaimed, "We will neither go to Ayodhya nor we will enter the Dandaka forest. Let Bharata live at ease and Sri Rama dwell in the forest." Such is the case with every ordinary human being. And commoner is very well satisfied once his stomach is satisfied, once he has some nice place to dwell, once he has all the royal luxuries that is sufficient to give him the enjoyment. And that enjoyment is more than enough. And this is what is the game plan which is tricked by the politicians of today. To 99% of the citizens of the country, they are nowhere interested in politics. They are nowhere interested in who will going to be the king and how they will going to run the country. They are simply interested in their personal welfare. So simply take care of their personal welfare, feed them with enough food, and take care of their personal comforts, everything, and they'll remain happy. Let whoever be the king, whether the king belongs to their own country or whether the king is an invader from some other country, whether it is a British or whether it is our own royal kings, or whether it is Hunas, Shakas, or whether it is the Greeks or whoever has occupied, if they take care of the minimal comfort of the low beings, low level beings, that is more than enough for 99% of the people. Hardly less than 1% of the people would bother about the future of the country. Thus did the warriors and grooms express themselves in the state of inebriation, while thousands of soldiers in exultation shouted aloud, "Verily, this is heaven!" Running here and there with garlands round their necks, innumerable soldiers danced, sang, and laughed though they had partaken to the full of excellent dishes, sweet as nectar, yet when they perceived fresh articles of food, they could not restrain themselves from eating anew. Thousands of messengers, servants, and the wives of the soldiery, putting on colorful raiment, displayed themselves with pride. Elephants, horses, camels, deer, and birds were fully satisfied. None wanted for anything. No one in the army of Bharatha was seen in soiled garments or hungry or unkempt. None was seen with an unclean countenance or uncombed hair. The men beheld countless dishes of mutton, pork, venison, and other meats, cooked in fruit juices and fried in butter with cloves, caraway seeds, and lentils simmering gently in them. Thousands of vessels were filled with spiced rice, garnished with flowers and flags. All was speechless with wonder on beholding them. Within a radius of 5 miles, the wells were filled with fragmentary, that is kiva, the kheer, and cows like Kamadhenu fulfilled every desire of them. The trees dripped honey, and the lakes were filled with the sparkling wine Myreya. The bank and banked with dressed viands such as deers, chickens, and peacocks. Hundreds and thousands of dishes were provided, and myriads of vessels filled with curds mixed with caraway seeds, ginger, and other fragrant spices were served there. Lakes of yogurt and milk, together with heaps of sugar, were to be seen on the river banks, as also fragrant crushed leaves and unguents with large pots of sandalwood paste, mirrors, and towels. In abundance of sandals and shoes were provided, while antimony, combs, brushes, parasols, bows and quivers, armor, and ornamental seats were placed here and there. Tanks full of liquid mixed with herbs to promote digestion were taken to the banks of lakes where descent was easy and where the people could bathe freely and drink when they pleased. These lakes were filled with pure water, abounding in lotuses and fringed with tender grass of blue and emerald hue. Here, resting places for the beasts were also to be found. Prince Bharatha's companions were astounded at the entertainment provided by the Maharishi Bharadwaja. All passed the night in amusement as though they are all living in the garden of Indra. At dawn, the river's celestial musicians and nymphs took leave of the Maharishi and returned to their own abode. But Prince Bharatha's followers were still flushed and inebriated, their bodies painted with sandalwood, the flower garlands in heaps like mountains lying everywhere, scattered and trampled on by men and beasts. Thus ended chapter 91 of Ayodhya Kanda in Ramayana. If you remember, in the past, a similar kind of a party was established. It was hosted by Vasishtha to the marching army of Kaushika, who later on became Vishwamitra. Whereas in that case, Kaushika, the king, with his army, he attacked the hermitage of Vasishtha to take away the great Shabala cow, which could able to organize all this great party for him. Similarly, in the past, Kartavirya Arjuna was similarly hosted by the sage Jamadagni, and he also tried to take the Surabhi cow, which arranged all that party. Such is the nature, general nature of a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya will be happy when a royal privilege is given, and he wanted to ensure that the royal privileges always remain with him. A Kshatriya will remain happy about the royal privileges, whereas a Vaishya will remain happy at his business transaction and making of the money, whereas a Brahmana is not supposed to involve in any of these financial affairs, nor in the royal privileges that will going to comfort his body. They are supposed to remain happy with only the studies, and in involving in acquiring the knowledge and do the best for the whole world. This is the reason why often a hierarchy started appearing between them over a period of time, that the Brahmanas were seen at the highest level of the hierarchy because of their disinterested in the royal comforts, nor in the money which were in which only the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas were interested. Whereas when you look at Shudras, they neither could able to get such royal privileges nor could able to get so much of money, but they were simply happy if they are fed very well, if they got enough food for eating and enough clothing to wear and a good shelter for them to live. And as long as they get something to eat, something to wear, and something to enjoy their night, they remain happy. And because of that reason, a hierarchy started appearing between them. Otherwise, even today, more than 99% of the world is filled with people having the mindset of Shudra. They were comfortable only with their personal comforts, whereas a small percent, very small percentage, less than 1%, in that comes the Vaishyas who are interested in making money and doing business transactions, and a small percentage of people who wanted to protect and wield their power over the others and are called as Kshatriyas, and a still smaller percentage of the people who are interested in only acquiring the knowledge and using that knowledge for the sake of the world. Namaste Sharada Devi, Kashmir Puravasini, Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam, Vidya Danancha Dehime. Goodbye.